tragedy. Sources tell WBZ about the final moments inside this Arlington home, what we've learned about the father found dead with his wife and twin sons.
A WBZ exclusive, blamed for a public health scare.
It was my bad luck, but it could have been anybody.
The woman who unknowingly exposed hundreds of people to a dangerous disease and her struggle to recover.
A pretty chilly, wintry day with gusty winds out there for our Tuesday. How about the rest of the week? What does that hold for us? We've got your Accuweather forecast coming up.
And remembering how he said goodbye to John F. Kennedy. The mementos from his funeral on display to the public for the very first time.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
He saved lives in the past, but tonight, sources tell WBZ they believe an Arlington man killed his family and then killed himself. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm Jack Williams. It's certainly a crime that has shocked the community. Sources say that Mae Jones and her infant sons were murdered. And we've learned that her husband, who's the father of the boys, then killed himself. Christina Hager is live in Arlington with some new details for us tonight. Christina.
Well, Jack, the details are disturbing. Our sources are telling us that investigators found the infant boys with their throats slashed. They found Scott Jones' wife, Mae Jones, had been strangled, and our sources say it looked like he had taken his own life. Scott Jones was a paramedic who had seen tragedy and death many times over.
You don't know what's going to happen from day to day.
WBZ spoke with him more than a decade before police found his body in this Newland Road home Monday, along with those of his wife, Mae Jones, and their precious twin sons, Colt and Cameron, just a week shy of their first birthday. Back in the year 2000, Scott Jones was the very first responder to the horrific scene of a mass shooting in Wakefield's Edgewater Technology office building. 7 people were killed.
Gunshot wounds and no pulses on any of the victims.
Jones won an award for his bravery. Then he got divorced, moved into this Newland Road home with Mae Fulton, whom he later married, and trouble would follow. In 2010, police were called. According to the report, Jones convinced Fulton that he intended to commit suicide. In 2011, a court filing in a custody dispute with his previous wife says he lost joint legal custody approximately 2 years ago for untreated major depression, which led to alcohol abuse and a suicide attempt. Despite his problems, neighbors told us by all appearances, he and his new family were happy and loving. Today, relatives left the home without saying a word. Roses on the doorstep. Mae Coombs' brother told WBZ the two were in the process of getting a divorce, and he said that Scott Jones had actually moved out of this address just a few days ago. In Arlington, Christina Hager, WBZ News. Jack, back to you.
Very depressing. Christina, thank you. Mae Jones worked at an educational travel agency in Boston called the Road Scholar. Spokesperson tells us her co-workers are certainly grieving her loss.
What a change in our weather today. The temperature dropped and the wind made it feel even colder out there. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher joins us now with the Accuweather forecast. Eric?
A good 10 to 20 degrees colder than this time last night. Feeling a big change across the region. You can see the temperature drop over 24 hours. And then we've got really the wind chill, which is back to the 20s, making it feel like winter again. It's 33 degrees in Worcester, Taunton down to 39. 40 in Chatham, all told, not that unusual for this time of the year. It's just a little jarring. Eventually, we fall back through the 20s tonight. Wind chill values 10 to 20 degrees. The breeze does not completely die off as we head through tonight, and it will still be around tomorrow morning. It'll start to fade tomorrow afternoon. The idea is cool and quiet weather for the rest of this week. Big changes this weekend. We'll have the timeline for that coming up in a few minutes. Lisa?
All right, Eric, thank you. Now, at 6, a worker rescued after getting trapped in a trench for nearly 3 hours. That man was working on a sewer project when the trench collapsed. As Paul Burton shows us, coworkers didn't waste any time launching a difficult rescue effort.
And he was, screaming out with pain, but he was conscious the whole time.
Trapped inside a 10-foot trench up to his chest in asphalt and dirt, a 40-year-old construction worker is in rough shape, but very fortunate to be alive.
The trench collapsed while a worker was in it, or collapsed while the worker was standing on the side. The worker worker was trapped about 7 to 8 feet down into the hole.
Fire officials say the private contractor from CRL Construction was working on a sewer extension project on County Road in Ipswich when he got trapped.
His condition was he was in a lot of pain. His legs were trapped. One of his legs was actually wrapped around a gas main. Definitely lower leg issues, probably a broken leg or broken ankle. He did have a shoulder injury from when the asphalt came down and hit him.
4 other contractors from CRL, along with 2 Ipswich police officers who were working the detail, quickly leaped into action.
They did an excellent job in stabilizing and getting that person room to breathe, if you will, because he was buried up over his chest at that point.
Yeah. Members of the Essex County Trench Rescue Team eventually were able to pull the man to safety, place him on a backboard and off into an ambulance where he was immediately med-flighted to Boston.
OSHA is investigating the incident to see if there were any workplace safety violations and to see what actually happened in this situation. The good news is that the worker is expected to be okay and he is in good spirits. In Ipswich, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
The son of a Boston police officer now accused of hitting a 58-year-old woman with his truck, then dragging the woman 3 miles to her death. Kichampan Patel had just become a new American citizen. She worked at the Arbor Inn Motel in Rentham, where it all started. Moses Aclock faced a judge today. Aclock says he left the hotel in a hurry because he was beat up while watching the Patriots game. His attorney says Aclock didn't realize he'd hit anyone.
On behalf of my client, extended sincere, heartfelt emotions towards the death of this woman.
For this to happen to the nicest little lady in the world, it's shameful.
By the way, Aclock has no criminal record. His lawyer says motel employees have beat him up in a dispute over an unpaid bill there.
Now a WBZ exclusive, a health scare that forced hundreds of people to get vaccinations for hepatitis A. It was all traced to a couple of restaurant workers in New Hampshire. And now one of those workers is talking publicly for the first time. As New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield shows us, she describes the past few months as a nightmare.
Carrie Williams is healthy again after suffering from hepatitis A and 9 days in the hospital.
I have never felt so ill in my life. I've had double mastectomy surgery. I've had my ovaries taken out. And I was more afraid of what was happening to my body with hepatitis A than I was then.
Williams and her roommate worked at the Covered Bridge restaurant in Kentucky, New Hampshire. Both women somehow contracted hepatitis A, a virus that can attack the liver. The diagnosis led health officials to hold a news conference alerting restaurant customers of a potential health risk. And the names of who was causing the crisis quickly spread in this small town.
It scares people because the way that it was presented is that, you know, if you talk to me, you're going to get hepatitis A.
State health officials set up special vaccination clinics and urged patrons who had visited the restaurant in late July and early August to be vaccinated. More than 1,200 people ended up doing so.
They had big DOT signs on the highway that said Hep A Clinic, Exit 6, you know, and all this other stuff. And they made a really big situation out of it.
Nobody else was ever diagnosed with hepatitis A, and Williams believes the frenzy was unnecessary.
In our business, when you're a bartender, you wash your hands 40 billion times a shift.
Now with a clean bill of health, she's rebuilding professionally and personally.
You do find out who your friends are during it.
In Kentucky, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
The man charged with killing a University of New Hampshire student is now accused of trying to escape from jail. A grand jury indictment handed up today says that Seth Mazzaglia worked with another man to plan a violent jail escape. Mazzaglia is waiting trial on charges that he murdered Lizzie Marriott.
Well, the thieves walked in and stole a dog from an MSPCA adoption center, and the whole thing was caught on camera. Here are the surveillance pictures that were taken Saturday at Nevins Farm in Methuen. The MSPCA says a couple, apparently in their 60s, were in the lobby before the man walked out the back door with a beagle named Sophie. The couple drove off in a silver Jeep Liberty. The MSPCA says this is the third dog stolen from the farm in the last year, although the other dogs were quickly returned. This time, it appears the couple planned the theft and even brought their own leash.
off on WBZ News. Boy, talk about a tough end to a rough night. What Bill Belichick is saying today about the controversial call that ended the Patriots' comeback in Carolina.
Remembering the life and death of John F. Kennedy, mementos from his funeral. People in Boston are now seeing for the first time.
Tracking our students' progress, the new test that could soon replace the MCAT.
Everything's a little chilly out there this evening. Wait till you see the forecast for this upcoming weekend. Details coming up after the break.
Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, now it's love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Subaru takes you safely on adventures and brings you home memories. Buy a brand new 2014 all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza, well equipped for only $17,895.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
You have peripheral neuropathy. I described the pain in my legs. The other doctors I went to, they prescribed medications. Gabapentin, Lyrica, Neurontin, Cymbalta. All I wanted was for the pain to stop. What I wanted was New England Health and Wellness. A team of doctors with a new treatment that will give you your life back. That's New England Health and Wellness. An end to the pain. It's all I wanted. Call now to speak with one of our specialists. New England Health and Wellness, 978-788-9355.
Made with the highest quality ingredients and signature handmade touches. You can be guaranteed the freshest tasting apples make it from the orchard to your table when you choose the Marie Callender's apple pie, topped with Ready Whip. Learn more at supermarketguru.com.
The perfect stocking stuffers. The Jewelry Exchange has infinity, journey, circle, and cross pendants for $99, diamond studs for $59, pearl necklaces $39, and 1-carat diamond and tanzanite pendants $49. Buy diamond and factory direct. The Jewelry Exchange in Sudbury.
How do you measure a great bank? It's in the storied places and traditions of an institution with the wisdom that brings successful change. Thoughtful leadership, embracing the freshness and color of new traditions and new families with new stories. As Hingham Savings brings community banking to new neighborhoods, in new places, loyalty and trust will be the true measure of our success. Hingham Savings.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. Don't get caught by surprise. Ask an independent agent about safety insurance enhanced coverage for auto, home, and business. Safety insurance will help you manage life's storms.
Everything we ever thought of. Everything we fight for. Everything we dream of. Everything we are. The 9/11. Porsche identity.
Visit Herb Chambers Porsche of Boston and Burlington.
Massachusetts workers could be in for a big pay raise if the state hikes the minimum wage. The state senate is debating tonight whether to raise the minimum wage. Goal is to have it at $11 an hour by 2016. An analysis shows more than 500,000 workers would be affected, but opponents say that raise would hurt small businesses.
The funeral of John F. Kennedy, the final act in a tragedy 50 years ago that changed this country. The JFK Museum is marking this somber anniversary by looking back at how America said goodbye to the 35th president. Here's Paula Edmond with the story.
Iconic images, haunting, poignant, that still evoke vivid emotions.
Everything was possible. And it was, you know, you even tear up now.
Symbolic items from President Kennedy's funeral are on display at the Kennedy Library.
These artifacts do have a certain potency. They have a power somehow to connect us to that moment in time.
The handwritten notes for a state funeral overseen by a grieving 34-year-old mother with a sense of history and artistry.
There were probably thousands of decisions to be made. And so Mrs. Kennedy had certain ideas about what she wished to see.
The flag presented to her on behalf of a mournful nation. And for the first time ever, the saddle, sword, and boots from the riderless horse, Blackjack, that followed the president's funeral cortege.
I think Americans can feel proud of the way the nation mourned President Kennedy.
It was a touch point for these two friends from Lynn.
The memories are still there. That riderless horse that we saw on the TV, that I remember that. And then seeing little John, you know, coming forward.
When you see those images now, what do they make you think?
Well, it was just an ending to the possibilities. We just thought we were going to leave the world, and so it's you know, sad. It was very sad.
The exhibit, called A Nation Remembers, also includes historic film footage and photographs of the state funeral and national mourning. It opens at the Kennedy Library on Friday and runs through February 23rd. Jack and Lisa?
Oh boy, I really have vivid memories of that. I was working in radios in those days, and boy, that seems like yesterday, and 50 years have passed.
And so many things that happened almost immediately after that also shook this nation.
Sure did. Hard to believe that Jackie Kennedy was only 34 then. Oh boy. Hey, well, let's turn our attention to the weather because boy, was it a change.
A change today, and Eric, it sounds like we're in for a little more of that in the week to come.
Yeah, it's going to be a little up and down, and more down than up, I think, as we head toward the weekend. The cold is here to stay for at least the next couple of weeks. It's 30s out there for this evening, so certainly chilly. It's nothing we can't handle, but it's a lot colder than what we were dealing with this time last night. And that cold air is all across the Great Lakes, down deep into the south. And so many of us in the east are cold. That's the theme that we're watching all the way through the end of November and even into the start of December. Now, in terms of the wind chill, which factors in, of course, the wind and how it actually feels on our body, feels like 24 in Worcester, 29 in downtown Boston, 30 in Falmouth. So a wintry night, bundle up if you have to head out and about. And as we look at tonight's lows, we'll dip back through the 20s. And tonight is likely the coldest night of this week. The wind never completely dies down this evening, so wind chill values will fall back into the teens. It's mainly clear skies all across the northeast, some clouds over some of the higher terrain. Snowflakes have been flying across the mountains of the Adirondacks and out across northern New England. That's about it. It's clear and cold around here for us, but you will get great visibility. The Minotaur rocket will launch tonight from Wallops Island in Virginia. The launch window opens at 7:30, so if everything is going perfectly, that's when the rocket will take off. You can follow that on NASA's Twitter handle and on Facebook. Look at the southwestern sky. It'll be similar to a bright star, and you should be able to see it anywhere in New England. The ground will be shaking, and I'm expecting some unbelievable pictures down toward D.C. and southern New Jersey. We'll get the best look at this one. Locally, as we look at the weather for tomorrow morning, it's all the jackets on deck, back to the winter attire in the 20s. It'll be sunny, but less wind around midday into the afternoon tomorrow. Still a breeze, but not as bad, so it should feel a little more comfortable outside. Perfect blue skies, and falling back through the 30s as we head through tomorrow evening. Your sunset is at 4:18. High pressure right overhead through tomorrow and into the start of Thursday. Means a lot of clear skies for us. Thursday afternoon, maybe a few high cirrus clouds. Be another good sunset day. And then on Friday, we'll watch the next weather system start to move in. Clouds increase, and by the evening, we may see some rain showers start to work their way in from the west. This is going to follow the same type of pattern we've been seeing over the past couple of months. A storm track to our west, deepening low pressure, heads up through the Great Lakes. Most of the energy goes up through the Great Lakes, and we get a brief shot of rain and then a burst of cold air behind it. And that's what we anticipate for this upcoming weekend. And that cold could be the coldest air that we've seen so far this year. So from a high 52 Saturday morning to falling temperatures in the afternoon and low 30s is as warm as it gets on Sunday. I do think the rain's gone from that system by the time we light the tree at Faneuil Hall. So hopefully things will be good. They'll be cold. They'll be breezy. It'll feel like the holidays. Your WBZ Accuweather 7-day forecast. Sunday, that high, the freezing mark with the wind. It will just be bitter cold at Foxborough for that Pats game. Monday, we're hopping out near 30, and I think we stay cold all of next week leading up to Thanksgiving. Jeff, Lisa, back to you.
Eric, thank you. Good to be looking ahead to the next Patriots game.
Oh, miserable night last night.
And to make matters worse, you know, the Patriots got in at like 5 o'clock this morning. They had to wait on a plane. They had to wait for a plane. For the plane. They got in at like 5 o'clock this morning.
And then having lost, they might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the officials, that's where we're going to start. The officials believe they got it right. Fans here in New England will beg to differ, but Patriots lost last night in Carolina on a controversial call that was a non-call when the official picked up the flag. All in all, the players will tell you this game should have never have come to that. Today, NFL Vice President of Officiating, Dean Blandino, told the NFL Network that officials made a tight judgment call on the last play of the game. And that Luke Kuechly's restriction of Gronk happened simultaneously with the interception. Not sure if I'm buying that, but Bill Belichick was fuming last night, but he was more calm today.
Don't really have any comment about the officiating or any of those calls. It's not really our job to call the game, play and coach it. Whatever calls they make, are the ones to do it with.
All right, so let's take a close listen to how it all went down last night, thanks to our friends at 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Snap to Brady, retreats in the pocket, steps up to the end zone. The throw will be intercepted. Lester has it. The flag goes down. The flag is thrown. Gronkowski perhaps interfered with, or at least held by Kuechly in the middle of the end zone. There will be another play here in Charlotte.
Saw the same thing you saw.
There will not be another play based on the reaction of the Panthers. There is no foul on the play. The game is over.
Yeah, it's the last play of the game. I don't know what happened. There was a flag thrown. And then the game was over.
What did I think about the final play? I thought it was exactly, what we'd hoped for.
Gronk got absolutely tackled, and that's a blatant hold.
When they threw the flag, that's what I thought it was going to be. And it was waved off, so I can't do anything about it.
My back was to, Brady, so I was just, playing his eyes, playing his hands, waiting for his eyes to get big and his hands to go up, and I was going to try to break it down.
But Brady is serving him up right now. But good for Tom Brady.
I wish it wouldn't have come down to that. I think there was plenty of plays we could have made, but it did. And they're gonna make a call, or they're not gonna make the call, but we can play better than that.
Unfortunately, it didn't end up the way we wanted it to, but hey, they called what they saw, and that's what it is.
In my opinion, the Pats got hosed. They got absolutely hosed on that final play.
I'm not trying to sit here and make an excuse that he held me at the end of the game. The game is 4 quarters long. It's one throughout all 4 quarters. It's not just the last plays of the game.
A very puzzling end to this one.
Gronk taking the high road. The holiday season is upon us, but Keith Talib and Steve Smith won't be exchanging Christmas cards. These guys were going at it last night. They used to face each other twice a year when Talib was with the Bucks. Pat's cornerback was asked if the two guys talked after the game.
Hell no. Ain't nothing to talk about.
Who? Talib. Just another notch on the bedpost.
Just 2 competitive guys going at it, man.
And that, my friends, is sports for now.
Yikes.
Trash talking going on.
Thanks, Steve.
CBS Evening News is coming up in a few moments at 6:30.
And Scott Pelley joins us live from New York with a preview now. Scott?
Hi, Lisa. Jack, great to be with you in Boston. Important testimony on Capitol Hill today. A number of security experts were asked about the Affordable Health Care website and whether the information on that website, the consumer information on the website, is secure. We will have what the experts had to say, and we'll also have a story tonight on how new technology saved so many lives in that swarm of tornadoes that hit the midsection of the country over the weekend. Those stories and the rest of the world news for you on the CBS Evening News in a little under 10 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. Still to come, phasing out the MCAS and the new test that could track how our kids are doing in school.
The Philippines has been devastated by Typhoon Haiyan. Thousands have lost their lives and there's been massive property damage.
The victims urgently need your help.
Visit cbsboston.com for information or to make a donation. CBS Boston cares.
CBS Tonight, a person of interest event.
I'm guessing this is about a number. You, Mr. Reese.
Every criminal in New York is trying to kill you.
Can't take down a group of bad cops without having casualties.
They got fuss code, didn't they?
Someone was always going to end up in a casket.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Harold.
Person of interest, the Endgame. Tonight, 10/9 Central.
This is BMW Gallery at your service. It's where you get the right service and the right repair right on time. Plus, the Gallery Rewards program saves you money on original BMW parts, service, and more. And save big with BMW Value Service and get a great price on oil changes. BMW Gallery is convenient with 2 locations to keep your ultimate driving machine performing at its best. That's sure to keep you smiling. That's the art of exceeding expectations. BMW Gallery, Norwood and Norwell.
When you have a problem like cancer, you want to know, what does that mean for me?
At the Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center, we want to make sure that we give you state-of-the-art treatment that's very specific for your cancer.
We look at your cancer and we think, maybe we can train your immune system to go after the cancer. We understand the genes that make cancers go.
The radiation dose that you receive is your dose, sculpted to the shape of your cancer.
Right now you have cancer, but what your cancer doesn't know is that you have us.
Dana-Farber Brigham and Women's Cancer Center. Let's take the first step together. Don't miss America's favorite foursome from the most beloved television program in history. Live and in color for the very first time. I Love Lucy. Live on stage. Coming December 3rd through 22nd. Get tickets at LexusRunwayInBoston.com.
Sometimes, less is more. Especially when it comes to knee surgery. See this apple represents your knee. With total knee replacement, the entire surface has to be removed. But with the Oxford Partial Knee from Biomed, you keep up to 75% of your healthy knee for a more rapid recovery with less pain, more natural motion, and a lifetime implant replacement warranty. The new study also shows Oxford patients were more than twice as likely to be satisfied with their ability to perform daily activities compared to total knee patients. Not all patients are candidates for partial knee replacement. Risks include, but are not limited to, loosening, dislocation, fracture, wear, and infection, any of which can require additional surgery. Only your surgeon can tell if this surgery is right for you. Why get a total knee if all you need is a partial? The Oxford Partial Knee. For a surgeon in your area, go to oxfordknee.com.
Meet Mike and Sarah from New England. Their Prius gives them 50 mpg, which saves them over $6,000 in fuel costs over 5 years versus the average car. Toyota Prius, a very, very smart choice. Ask someone you know who drives one.
The MCAS exams may be on their way out, but kids, before you start cheering, today the state voted to expand the trial run of a potential replacement, which is known as the PARCC test. Supporters say this new test is a better way to assess progress. So what changes? Well, right now, kids in 3rd through 8th grade and again in 10th grade take the MCAS test in English and math. Kids would take the PARCC test every year starting in 3rd grade. Now, the MCAS also tests kids in science and math and English. That wouldn't be the case with the PARCC test. It only covers English and math. That means the state would keep the MCAS exams to cover science. Jack?
Okay, Lisa. Well, turns out Facebook is a new crime-fighting tool for Massachusetts State Police. Troopers posted a list of the most wanted sex offenders on their Facebook page last week. Well, it worked. 5 of the suspects have been arrested in the last 2 days, and by the way, captured through tips that came in from all over Massachusetts. Coming up next, an overdue honor, Boston's new war memorial and the sacrifices that it remembers.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. We're dedicated to helping our members with happier, healthier lives.
They thought their dream of having children was over.
Absolutely heart-wrenching because there's no cure, no treatment.
But now, a medical breakthrough, and parents say it's nothing short of a miracle.
That was amazing.
A simple procedure preventing some of the most devastating genetic diseases.
This gave us a chance at a life with kids of our own.
How a fast and inexpensive test is giving new hope to families who thought they could never have a healthy baby. Tonight on WBZ News at 11.
Visit GetDragon.com this Wednesday, and when you buy 1 copy of Dragon Speech Recognition, you'll get a 2nd copy free. That's 2 incredible gifts for just $99.99. Wednesday the 20th, only at GetDragon.com, or call 888-881-9970.
It's Happy Honda Days, our biggest sales event of the year, at Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, and at Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda Civic for just $48 per month. Come on down! That's right, lease a brand new Civic for just $48 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
One of the things that interested us in moving out to the country was that we really wanted to contribute to something, and the cafe is one manifestation of that.
Let's create a place where people could come and gather and talk.
I think that our children have learned from us taking this risk. Witnessing us will one day give them the courage to try something. We are the Lichtentals, and we have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
An ocean away from you lies the land of Kerrygold, our land, washed over softly by pure Atlantic rain. Ireland is lush and green and simply made for butter. Generations of Kerrygold farmers have grazed their cows here on grass, just as nature intended. And this great grass gives us the rich, golden, delicious butter that we call Kerrygold. Kerrygold, pure Irish butter.
This is a leather-wrapped steering wheel. This is 8.4 inches of go anywhere. This is 20 inches of water-fording talent. This is armor. This is 31 miles per gallon highway. This is the freedom to keep chasing all the horizons you want. Introducing the all-new Jeep Cherokee.
Lease the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee Sport front-wheel drive for $259 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Visit GetDragon.com this Wednesday, and when you buy one copy of Dragon Speech Recognition, you'll get a second copy free. That's 2 incredible gifts for just $99.99. Wednesday the 20th, only at GetDragon.com, or call 888-881-9970.
Recognizing veterans whose contributions have been ignored for simply too long, a new monument in the south end of Boston honors the sacrifice of Puerto Rican men and women who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It is believed to be the first war memorial specifically for Puerto Rican veterans.
And we end with that special tribute. Thanks for being with us tonight.